Hi, everybody. Welcome to the very first game of the Summer of Spooks series. We're going to be featuring a ton of different games, a ton of different systems. I think like upwards of, there's at least 10. So more than that. I don't know how numbers work. But this is the first one, and I'm really excited to kick it off with this group. Um, it's it's a good group of people I've played with before, and of course the wonderful maker of this game. So I am super excited to get this going. Um, we can go around and introduce ourselves. Just I the a lot of the information is left off the overlay for me being lazy reasons. But you can just say who you're playing, your playbook, any kind of pertinent information to your character you think people would need to know. We'll start with Mal.
Oh, hi. I'm Mal. I'm playing Henry Campbell, the one who never left.
What about you, Rachel?
Just as I'm taking a drink. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I am Rachel. I am playing Tristan Walker, the high school graduate who is 19 and recently married. And that's not a problem at all. We both use she, her pronouns. It's very
fun. Matthias, what about you?
Hi, I'm Matthias, him, and I'm playing Frankie, he, him, college dropout, turned sloppy goth.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
And Petra, what about you?
Hey, I am Petra, using she, her pronouns, and today I'm playing the younger sibling, Hannah Campbell. So I am Henry's younger sister. I am 16, and after a very traumatic experience 5 years ago, I turned from a very cheerful, nosy, wisecracking 11-year-old girl to a cynical punk rock girl with a lot of whatever attitude and a lot of issues. And thank you, Katie, so much for playing this little game.
This is a game I have been wanting to play. I distinctly remember playing what was the carnival game?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about. Matthias remembers it too. Months and months and months ago, and you talking about making this game before it was even released. So that's been something I've always wanted to do, and I remember you releasing it, and I was very excited, and finally have a chance to run it. So I'm hyped. I'm Katie. I will be the MC, GM, whatever you want to call it for this game, and I am going to be trying to spook these wonderful folks as much as possible. We will be using the X card system during this game. If anything, is uncomfortable for any of the players, they can just send an X in Zoom chat, put up an X on the screen, doesn't matter, and we will immediately stop, rewind, doesn't matter what it is, no questions asked, and continue from a new point of view. The end card means that you're coming up on something that makes you uncomfortable. It might make you feel a little bit icky. So we can just sort of be vague, slow down, get around it as quick as possible. And O card is if someone is really into the RP and you want, you're worried that they might be experiencing it too much, you just send an O. I'm fine. I love this. I love crying. I'm going to keep doing it. Okay, so we are going to, this first little bit, we're going to go through some last minute bonds and sort of figure out the relationships between these characters so we can get a good feel on, what would bring them back after a traumatic experience so long ago. So if we wanted to start with, let's see who I have on my list. Frankie, your bonds as the college dropout. It would probably make it easier if you wanted to just pick 2 instead of all 3, but I'll leave that up to you, just as a way to give us some sort of, tether to this world that we're in.
Did you call on me?
I did.
Okay, yes. So my bonds, wait, where are so Tristan knows that I dropped out, and I believe that she doesn't approve of my action. Why do I think that? We discussed this. Why do I think that? It's because my impression of Tristan is, oh my god, like she's married, she got kids, she's like doing the thing maybe a bit early you're supposed to be doing, and I'm like, can't even imagine me going there. I don't know when ever, right? So that's that gives me HX -2 with Tristan.
So you sort of see Tristan as like doing the adult thing, and she wouldn't approve of your adult lifestyle. Or non-adult lifestyle, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, there will be more details to come when we go around.
For sure. What about another one? Do you have another one?
Yes. I actually have one for all three.
Oh, cool. Great.
So I made out with Henry once, and I feel really awkward about it. And this has kind of to do with, I think, well, so I've dropped out of college. So these are kind of connected. I've dropped out of college, and I've started hooking up with men that are way older than me. And not really in a relationship way, in a hookup way.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I might have taken advantage of Henry back then. But yeah,
it's just a really awkward situation.
Yes, exactly. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's like, it's really weird. It's everything kind of connected. There's guilty feelings there as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've got Hannah and I once saw something we shouldn't have seen. And we saw Mr. Davison, chemistry teacher.
He snuck some things out of the lab.
He snuck
chemicals
out of the lab, and it was kind of clear what they would be used for. We didn't tell on him though. Like, we always had this thing, well, now we've got leverage over our teacher, but we never really used it. The problem was we were likely also high back then. And if we had used that leverage ever, that might have, like, lots of other stuff might have come up and out. So, yeah.
Okay.
That's maybe a good transition over to Hannah. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to go right down to Hannah and your bonds as the high school graduate. Nope, younger sibling. Sorry.
Yeah. So in discussing these things with the others, I decided that in the past, Henry, so my own brother, often made me feel like the fifth wheel of the party. So Hannah is a pretty bright kid, so she always enjoyed it better to hang out with people who were a little bit older than her, and probably also because of the whole cool factor. If I remember correctly, Tristan, she used to be like a really punkish and Hannah always thought that was really cool, and the others were really cool. She always felt really close to Frankie as well, and so she always wanted to hang out with them. And Henry, being the big brother, didn't really approve of that, which I can, from my own perspective, I can understand. If you want to be with your friends. So yeah, so what did they do for you to feel this way? Just being, get lost, Hannah. You're not supposed to be here, Hannah. I'm gonna tell our parents, Hannah.
He just had this specific way of saying your name, and you knew.
Yeah. Well, he was, and Mel, you can correct me in case you made a last minute change, but Henry used to be. I like how when we discussed a little bit of characters, we all sooner or later came up on either, okay, he or she used to be goth or is now a half goth, or then I went with punk, and then Rachel also went with punk, and
I honestly have this distinct look of the four of you in my mind, of this little punk/goth look group.
Yeah, so
I'm emo, thanks.
Yes, emo. Like, the hair over there. But back then Hannah wasn't that. She was like just a very chipper, horse loving, animal loving kind of little girl, before everything went south. And so the second bond, I have a crush on Tristan. And then the question is, have you told them? Yes, I would say so. I just mentioned it. When we all were younger, and Tristan was the real punk of the group, Hannah always thought secretly that was so cool. And also Tristan was definitely the reason that Hannah realized at some point that maybe she was really into girls and didn't care about the boys at all. So when she was younger, she would definitely, back then she never told Tristan, but then in the last couple of years, Hannah got really nonchalant about it, and sort of in a kind of, hey, did you know actually that I totally had a crush on you? And to be honest, I still kind of have, like, you're still so cool. And but so again, it's in a more nonchalant way, because Hannah actually has a girlfriend right now, but she still has this casual crush on Tristan. And then the last bond, that would be then Frankie. Frankie once helped me in a time of need. What did they do for you? So after everything that went down 5 years ago, and I guess we're gonna get to talk a little bit more about that.
Yes.
I guess I can maybe already drop that. My brother vanished 5 years ago, and so that really fucked me up big times. And I dealt with a lot of heavy shit, including nightmares, and so Frankie, being the good friend, and probably also like a Zat's big brother, he gave Hannah her first joint when she was about like 14. Because in a time when she was really at the point, at the brink of falling apart after going through those nightmares, but not being unwilling to take any medication. And he was like, "Hey, I've got something else for you that might help you calm down." And so yeah, and yeah.
And through that is like probably how we one afternoon saw Mr. Davison carry those chemicals to his car.
Yeah.
Looking very suspicious.
We're gonna go over to Hannah's crush, Tristan, and
Wonderful.
Get into your bonds as the high school graduate.
Okay, so I only filled out 2 of the bonds because I felt like looking up to someone didn't quite jive with her character.
That's perfect.
But not too long ago, I confided in Frankie. What was it about, and how did they betray your trust? So we were talking about how, I was thinking about how Tristan's husband is like significantly older than her, and how Frankie was fooling around with older men. And I think that Tristan confided into with Frankie that she thought her husband was cheating on her. And that turned out to be true because the person he was cheating on her with was Frankie.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that he was married.
Did Frankie confirm? Like, that is a confirmed thing that Tristan knows?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, that was the thing that like was written all over his face.
She described a certain mole somewhere that only her and Frankie would know. And your other bond.
My other bond is the last time I talked to Henry, I lied to him. What lie did I tell? I think at least the three of us, like Henry, Frankie, and I, were like the same-ish age. We ran in the same groups because we were all like these little punks and like troublemakers and emo and goth. And so we stuck together and we were friends. I think 5 years ago when I last saw him, I told him that I would come back for him.
Ouch.
And I did not do that.
That hurts. Well, speaking of Henry, our vanished big brother, what are your bonds?
Well, I don't really think with what we've talked about that it makes sense to have someone sharing a dream with me, so we're gonna ignore that one.
Okay, yeah.
But Hannah never forgets my birthday. I don't know if it's because of what happened or in spite of what happened, or if it's just has been a forever thing. And then why is that important to me?
Was it on your birthday?
I don't know, because I've been missing for a while. We'll find out, I guess. Why it's important. So then you're convinced that Frankie is taking drugs. What did you see that made you believe that? I guess at some point I caught Frankie and my sister taking drugs.
Although you wouldn't have, that was all after you vanished. Like she wasn't.
Are you still doing pot?
I'm not sure you heard that.
So Hannah started doing drugs after Henry vanished.
You know, but he asked Frankie.
Oh, Frankie? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Like,
do not condone the use of the devil's lettuce.
Okay. So yeah, we have our basic bonds now. Everything that ties these characters together. And we start off with Henry. Henry, it's been 5 years since that sort of traumatic event that either it hurt you so much that you decided to run, or something summoned you, this darkness inside of you that finally decided to show its face. This darkness that, it seems like in this view of the world that you have, that everyone has, but it was strong for you that night. Put yourself back in Henry's shoes 5 years ago, when you were left there in this forest, outside of this town you had grown up in with your friends Tristan and Frankie and your little sister. When you open your eyes and these shadows begin to sort of envelop you from all angles. It's dark. It's close to midnight, but this is darkness you've never experienced before. It's thick, almost as if you could have to swim through it. If you're almost like you're covered in molasses, the way it feels on you, on all your limbs. And as you open your eyes, you realize you're truly alone, that you've been abandoned. No one has stayed to make sure you're all right. No one has stayed to look out for you. In this moment, what is Henry feeling when he realizes this sort of deep loneliness that's cutting through to his soul, this feeling of being abandoned?
I think he mostly is sad, being that he, even though Tristan, Frankie, and him are near the same age, he was the eldest, I think. And so having sort of looked after everyone, especially with Hannah always tagging around, I feel like he feels betrayal and sadness that no one's here for him when he needs them.
You can hear in the distance your sister still calling your name, and Frankie pulling her along, telling her to run. Tristan asking if this is the right choice. But then the world around you goes quiet. You had been, you had heard the crickets chirping, the normal sounds of a forest at night, but now everything is quiet, and it feels sort of like you are in this wind tunnel. There's this light buzz in your ears. You feel warmth around you. And in your mind, you hear this deep voice. They've abandoned you. You feel hurt, don't you? You know, Henry, always abandoned. You'll always be the one that's left here. And when you don't respond, that darkness gets thicker. And it's almost as if you go into this sort of stasis, this sort of sleep, Henry, that is probably the most rest you've ever got in your life. But you slowly begin to wake up. The shadows fade. You open your eyes. And as you rise, you're still surrounded by the forest. But you've noticed a couple of things are different. It's overgrown. Some trees have been knocked down. Some of the local deforestation has happened. People, the town trying to expand into the forest. And as you begin to walk out of the forest, it's not midnight anymore. And you see on the big scoreboard out of the football field that's on the line of the forest here, you see the sign that says, "Welcome back to Woodlake." And it's not the familiar date that you knew last. You've been gone for 5 years now. And some sort of quiet sleep that you don't remember, that seemed to pass by within a breath. But now the world around you has changed. Frankie, Tristan, and Hannah. It's been 5 years since the night when something happened out in the forest. of Woodlake, something that maybe a couple of you have tried to, brush from your mind, not think about. But more importantly, it's been 5 years since you've last seen your friend Henry. It's the city has put on a sort of early year homecoming type of event with all of the relocation, rebuilding, expansions of the city. It's about the only time that everyone can come back together to, see old friends and have a weekend together. And it's also very much a big cash grab for the city. I think you three know that. Being the little punks you were, you were against, any kind of corporation, that kind of thing, But where do you think the three of you would be gathered as you're coming back into town, to see each other? You don't even have to be gathered at some place. It can be sort of a chance meeting, but where do you think that you would be as you're, making your way back into Woodlake? Or if you've stayed here for the past 5 years, where are your usual stomping grounds?
I have a silly idea.
Yeah, of course.
Go for it.
Maybe it's a perchance meeting across the street from a newly built. What could it? Maybe they built a. What's like one of the new things that's been built up in town? I don't know if it's a.
Something that screams gentrification.
Yeah.
Well, they tore down an old community center or a church and they built an apartment block.
Yeah, and I think that apartment block and with curvy lines integrated in the architecture and all that kind of
stores. It has some downstairs stores, like way overpriced.
Yeah, it's just the bougiest
rent that no one in the city who lives here could actually afford.
Mm-hmm.
And I think 5 years ago, we had the idea and did some amateur squatting of the place. So now looking what has become of it is maybe a thing.
Well, I was going to say, you guys can be looking at what's become of it, but Tristan is walking out of one of the boutiques with, arms laden with shopping bags.
I love it. I love it.
Me too.
Yeah, so let's say then Hannah and Frankie are outside. And so as I said before, in the past 5 years, Hannah has changed visibly and also regarding her behavior. So, she's wearing ripped up jeans and biker boots and some band t-shirt and a beanie, although she doesn't look up. So for the past year, she's been trying to quote unquote pull herself together, so to get along a little bit better with her parents. And all of you would know that she has this idea of keeping her grades stable, make it through the last year of high school, and then get the heck out of Woodlake together with her girlfriend. But since this is school's over right now, so she put on her beloved punk garb and even put back in all her piercings. And so I can see her just biting her nails, sort of really looking up and down this ridiculously fancy, overpriced block.
And there was this awkward, hey, oh, you look great, and not knowing, do we go for a hug or is it just a pat on the shoulder? Or
oh yeah, no, Hannah, you can be awkward about it and say, hey Frankie, and I would definitely walk up and give you a hug, because even if we haven't seen each other that often, Hannah definitely would have made an effort to keep in contact with Frankie. And so last summer, Hannah ran away from home to go on a little road trip.
Okay, then it's definitely more familiar to greet you. Yeah. Great.
Yeah. And so you were, so when she ran away, I mean, she's not 100% a rebel, so she did tell her parents eventually so that they wouldn't call the cops. But she would, even during that time, she would have kept in contact with Frankie. So I would say there is a decent amount, or a good level of sort of understanding and familiarity. It's like, and so I'm looking at this like, I can't believe this. They really fucking did it. They really fucking did it. Like, who even? Even if I could afford to go in there, like, would you?
It's changed a lot. And Frankie looks like I do have like a black coat on. I'm wearing a plain black t-shirt, except that by now it's more gray than black because it's been washed out too many times. Yeah, with like my hands in my pockets, I'm like, and this look of disgust on my face. I look over, like,
yeah, that's when I walk out of the store.
Yeah, I
and
think you're all like, you hear a "thank you, ma'am, you come again, have a great day," as Tristan is, the ding over the door is ringing out, and her arms are laden with these very, very, like it's like one item in a too big bag. So she's got a ton of bags that all just have one item in them.
And
so what does Tristan look like now? Because
she's pretty much unrecognizable in a lot of ways. She used to have her hair like shaved and dyed, and now it's like you can tell that she's let it like grow out and cut out all the dyed parts, but it's still like a little bit short because of like having it shaved. It's uneven, so a little bit too short to be like perfectly waspy, but definitely got that look, like just like a little bit too much. Like her foundation is just off a shade, and she's wearing like too much eyeshadow, really long like red acrylic nails, and she's wearing sunglasses, and she lifts them when she sees you across the street, and when she recognizes that it's you, Frankie, and then she flips you off.
So my first reaction of seeing Tristan coming out would sort of, I'm nudging Frankie quite high. It's like, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
I'm still looking at the building because this person doesn't register as someone to take note of, and then I like look again. And...
so, I can look over, and then when I see her, flip us up, it's like, Tristan, like, what the fuck? And I start walking after her.
It is easy to catch up with her because she is wearing impractical heels.
So is that the change in her appearance? Is that something that happened over the past few months?
I think it's definitely been. She used to look a lot more plain and human before she found out that her husband was unfaithful.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think she doesn't live in Woodlake. I think she lives in one of the adjoining towns. But in what you've seen of her, it's slowly been like, oh, the cut of this neckline is a little bit lower, and oh, are those blonde highlights that she's gotten, and stuff like that.
It's so funny because it's basically Hannah went in one direction, becoming what Tristan used to be.
Yeah.
Only that she's trying to sort of has been trying to tone it down a little bit to not piss off her teachers and their parents so much, but not today. So Hannah is walking after her, and And she goes, "Yo, Tristan, hey, that's
Holy fuck, what happened to you?
You have a lot of nerve coming up to me and speaking to me like this.
Oh, shit.
Okay?
Oh, shit.
I didn't even know that.
A lot of...
Wait, you guys. I think I missed something here.
It's okay. Hannah,
Here,
sweetie, Hannah, it's so nice to see you, and I'm loving your whole look here.
Okay, I'm out, and I'm giving her a hug, sort of. And then I step back and say, okay, you can, carry on.
I love your whole look, but I cannot talk to Frankie right now. And I have places to go and things to be doing. So I'm going to say goodbye and see you. I'll see you, Hannah, later. Are you coming to the homecoming game?
Yeah, I mean, sure. Haven't you heard I'm a reformed person, so I...
That's so nice to hear. Oh, anyways, Frankie, if you could just, eat shit and die, I would really appreciate it. All right.
God.
I didn't even know Peter or whatever the fuck his name was married,
happening?
Well, that's kind of the sort of thing that you ask before you start fooling around with other people.
Actually, I don't even know why I'm to blame for this.
Okay, I'm gonna play the diffusing part here right now. So, Tristan, yeah, we should totally catch up in a little bit. And you, Mister, I'm looking at Frankie, you totally have to fill me in. So, and then she gently, so as to not have the whole situation escalate too much, sort of, patting Tristan on the back, and so, see you in a bit. Yep.
Bye.
Tristan, as you go to turn and walk away, your cell phone, you get a little chime
Frankie?
of a text message coming through.
Click, 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 because I've got acrylic nails. They're really long.
So, as you open up this first text message, it's with an unrecognized number. It's not even one that your phone, suggests might be this person. It's a number you're not familiar with. And you open it up, and it's an empty message at first. But as you're staring at it, messages begin to come through at sort of this lightning speed. It's in, the sort of text you get when your phone doesn't recognize the character, the sort of square you get. You get that in a couple of messages, and another one comes through quickly. It seems to be a paragraph of text. And then at the end, you get this blurry picture of what you can only recognize as that scene ahead of you 5 years ago. As you were running away, you see a picture of Frankie dragging Hannah out of the forest in front of you. Then after a moment, another picture comes through. It's just as blurry, just as dark. That looks to be this shadowed arm sort of reaching out toward you. And another text comes through after it that just is a smiley face. Not an emoji, just, the colon, parenthesis, smiley face. And I need you to roll to witness the uncanny. You confronted something that sort of you didn't expect. And it's just a 2d6 without any bonuses.
Okay. Love this. So that's not failure.
So on a miss, what you will do is you're going to get a -1 to your next roll, whatever it is, and you will take a breaking point. And for viewers, breaking points, they're sort of similar to Sanity and Call of Cthulhu. You take up to 5. You don't die, but you go batshit insane. Basically, you and there are certain limits when you get to, I think it's 3, you begin to take minus on certain kind of rolls, no matter what they are.
Yeah, so for for heart and mind rolls, starting at 3 breaking
because
points.
you're trying to break through what you're witnessing. But yeah, Tristan, you get this picture as you are probably a couple of feet, away from Frankie and Hannah. They're still standing there. Hannah is still having this "what the fuck did you do" conversation with Frankie behind you.
Yeah, I think I just dropped my phone and the screen splinters.
Yeah, Frankie and Hannah, you would definitely hear her, the phone shatter on the ground.
Yeah, and Hannah's first reaction is like, "That's why you don't wear those acrylic nails, honey." Honestly, I don't know how she can do it. How do you even wipe your ass when you... It's like, anyway, and I start walking over. Or what is Tristan doing?
It's like she didn't even hear anything that you just said. And she's just staring at her phone on the ground.
Okay. Then after a second or so, Hannah would definitely catch up that something is off, and she walks over and goes, Tristan?
Do you mind, what happened to the old liquor store? Because, before we head towards... And I'm like, what?
And I'm actually gonna reach down and pick up the phone.
You don't see any of this, Hannah. The screen is, sort of shattered, but you can still get a little bit of a look onto what was there. So all you see is a clear, as if Tristan was sending a message to someone. There's nothing there.
Yeah, I think she wouldn't even trying to, oh my God, what did she see? More like oh, okay, let's pick that up, and sort of trying to hand it back to Tristan and saying, Tristan, are you... Frankie, seriously, what did you do?
Yeah, I'm just going to rip it out of your hand, and the click of my heels going, down the sidewalk.
Just let her be. Let her cool off. I swear to you, he told me his name was Peter. And
wait, so this wasn't a joke? Like, you really and her husband?
What do you mean a joke? No, it wasn't a joke.
Oh my God.
I couldn't have known.
Somebody remind me again why I agreed to come and play the good daughter and go to this homecoming, and
I don't know. Let's actually find that liquor store, or get.
Yeah, later. Don't forget, I'm still a little bit far away from officially being able to drink. So, but I'm a little bit worried about Tristan, and I sort of look after her, walking tuck in the distance.
Yeah, Tristan hasn't gotten that far away.
Okay.
She's bound and determined to. But Tristan, you can feel the phone vibrating in your hand.
I don't want to look at the phone. I look at my phone. Is it from the same number?
It's vibrating. It's from the same number, and it's that same smiley face over and over and over again.
I'm going to switch my phone to Do Not Disturb. And I'm going to put it in the bottom of one of the shopping bags.
Okay. Hannah and Frankie, do you stop to do that, or did you continue on moving as you were doing that?
Hannah would try to sort of drag Frankie along and saying, you know what? Okay, things are really tense.
You can just
right now, but maybe, I don't know, like her whole transformation, and I don't know what was going on with the phone. Maybe, I don't know, maybe, oh my God, when you and her husband, did you take pictures or something? Anyway, like she looked really upset there. Maybe we should keep an eye on her.
I think.
I mean,
She
I'm
looks-
I'm done looking at whatever it is that they turned this block into. It's too early for alcohol. I mean, we can go and take a little break for what later on, but why don't we just
If you want to go and look
low-key
after her, you can.
stop Tristan a little bit. You don't? Okay.
I
Okay,
don't. I think
okay.
she doesn't right now. It's probably better. She's.
Okay, cool. Then you know what? We're just gonna meet up later, for sure.
Yeah.
Same spot. And yeah, I let you know what's going on with Tristan if anything is.
Yeah, keep in touch. Anything.
And so I start walking away, and then I stop and I look back. I said, "But seriously, dude, in the future, maybe ask her family name or something like that." And then I start following Tristan so that I can keep my distance. But
yeah, Hannah, you follow after Tristan, and Frankie, you're left alone in this moment on this city block that, despite being familiar to you, isn't that familiar to you. There's so much change that's happened in these 5 years. Do you turn to leave to head in the opposite direction? What do you do?
Yeah, so I think I start walking over to where I parked my car, and pull my phone out and type in liquor store into Google Maps. Right.
As you're doing that, you're standing beside your car.
Yeah.
You can see the sun high in the sky that's reflecting off of the lights or the glass of all this modern architecture behind you. As you look up across from you, something catches your eye. You see in this reflection, it looks to be about a young boy, probably no more than 16, standing there with a black hoodie, this band t-shirt on and blue jeans, standing there with his hands in the pockets of his hoodie, with his head down. And you notice, I think very specifically, that the black of his hoodie and his blue jeans is stained with mud. It doesn't look clean at all. There's some sprigs of grass hanging off of him.
So like kind of keeping him in like I'm not like staring him directly down, but keeping an eye on him. I kind of make my way over in a way so that like our paths would intersect to get a better look at him.
The reflection doesn't change. Nothing, goes out of your eyesight. He's still standing there. And the closer you get, Frankie, you see these small movements that looks like this person is raising their head to look at you.
The fuck? Yo, you okay?
The head looks up, and you are immediately met with the reflection of Henry Campbell, your old friend, with these dark black eyes, no pupil, there's no white, it's completely black. And almost it looks like his skin is sallow, is pale. It's not the healthy Frankie Henry you remember.
Yeah. Like I immediately like stumbled back, just like that was not what I was expecting.
Henry, as you're out in the woods, your eyes are closed. And it's almost like this scene is playing out in front of you. You see this person who abandoned you years ago. You're not exactly sure of the how, why this is happening. That question left your mind years ago, What do you do when you see Frankie there, almost as if you could reach out and touch him?
I try and reach out towards him, and I just, Frankie, why?
Do I hear that?
Frankie, you see this person move, this person that looks just like Henry. And even though the arms don't extend through the glass, you feel this grip on your shoulders that almost burns through your heavy trench coat onto your skin. You hear this question, Frankie, why?
What? Henry? I'm trying to actually. I reach out too.
As you do, you touch the glass and it's cold on your fingertips. And you see it begin to crack and shatter in front of you. And I need you to roll to witness the uncanny.
Yes. That's a 5.
So on a miss, you will get a -1 to your next roll, and you're going to take 1 breaking point. You hear the creaking and cracking of glass that's about to shatter. What do you do?
Fall on my butt.
As you fall back, this sort of ray of sun hits you and blinds you for a minute. And when you look back up at the glass, there's no Henry. There's no shatters there. Nothing's there. It's almost as if it's just a trick of the mind.
Yeah. I look back and forth, like down the pavement and like get up and I think hurry past like some person who's like gives me this look of what kind of scum are you to be hanging out here, right? As I'm like, I hurry to my car and with screeching tires drive off to the liquor store.
While this is happening,
That's my attention. Yeah.
While this is happening, Hannah, you've ran after Tristan, and Tristan, you're still, in your own mind walking forward, this anger rolling through you. But Hannah doesn't have on the heels you have, so she's sort of able to catch up to you relatively quickly.
Oh no, I would keep some distance because it seemed like she was really like in a no talking mood right now, but sort of like becoming her shadow.
I think she definitely notices.
Yeah.
And she stops.
Because
and she turns around. She says, "Are you following me or something?"
Yeah. Cause you look pretty spooked there. And also with Frankie and everything, I just wanted to make sure you're okay.
Well, it's none of your business. So.
Well, sorry for caring.
You're just a teenager, so I just keep your nose out of my business.
And you're like, what, 3 years older? And just because you think you're married now, that you're all grown up and whatnot? Come on, Tristan. Anyway, I don't want to get on your nerves. I just want to make sure you're okay, because you look really like you saw something that...
Look, if anything was wrong with me, no offense, but you wouldn't be the person that I'd talk to about it.
Oh, I'm really hurt. Okay, Tristan, you know what? You take care of your business.
I will. Thank you.
And so I let her walk off and sort of just look around.
That's
Think
when
about
you hear the screeching tires of my car as I drive off.
Exactly. You look back and you sort of you see
Oh,
this like
man.
little bit of smoke come up, and you recognize Frankie's car. You don't know what's gotten into him, but he is gone.
That sounded just like a car driving away. I don't know what it was. Anyway, okay, so Frankie has driven off. I don't want to follow Tristan, so I'm going to. So is the homecoming celebration, is it just in one place, or?
So all of you would know that there is a sort of citywide, very corny and I mean, you thought this when you were younger. You probably still think it very corny, like pancake dinner type of thing that they have, but it's like $3 for all you can eat pancakes. So a lot of people show up. But then after that, there is this sort of, it's not a real football game. It's sort of this chance where the people who are still living that high school life can come back for a year and play a game of football. It's sort of welcoming back the alumni who haven't moved on, that kind of thing. And then, around 11 o'clock when the game is over, if it even lasts that long, sometimes it doesn't, there are parties into the night. There is a big sort of city-wide one that is at the high school gym, where there's an open bar if you're old enough. But I think all three of you would definitely know that there are parties thrown everywhere, kind of field parties at various lodges. There are parties in the forest, all kinds of things that, you can get into.
Okay, I would say, so since Hannah is, as I said earlier, trying to, for the sake of keeping the peace between her and her parents and her and her teachers, trying to not be as holy and cynical and sort of confrontational. And I think she would actually, I don't know, what time is it now?
It is probably, I would say, probably around 2 o'clock, close to 3. It's
okay.
Afternoon, and that the dinner starts around 5, goes for a couple of hours, and people then, start going out to the football field.
Yeah, I would say Hannah, to please her parents, actually signed up to help with something. Maybe if there's tailgating or something like that before the game, that she would have signed up to. I don't know. Maybe she's helping with the stand where there's non-alcoholic drinks or something like that. So just so she can, show her parents that she's only 75% delinquent these days. So maybe she's making her way over there so that she can sort of start with whatever she signed up for. And then her plan was first to meet up again with Frankie later on, and then, but for later in the evening, she was totally going to meet her girlfriend and to go to one of the parties where she could get into.
Okay, Tristan, what are you doing as you walk off from this, blast from the past from Frankie and then Hannah trying to smooth things over?
I think she's probably just gonna take an Uber or a taxi to wherever she's staying for the weekend here in Woodlake.
Mm-hmm.
And she's probably going to put on some of her new clothes, fix up her makeup a little bit, and then she's going to block the number and delete all the texts that she got. And she's really disappointed because I think she has a kid who is staying with her in-laws.
Mm-hmm.
And she's mad now because her phone screen is broken, so she can't be showing off pictures of her daughter to everyone. Because that's the main reason she came, was to be look at me, I'm married, I have a kid, look at how put together my life is.
Okay.
That's what she's telling herself, at least.
Yeah, for sure.
That she's mad at the fact that her screen is broken, and not at the fact that there was a whole thing going on with the weird pictures from the night 5 years ago where
that would be me in real life, because phone screens cost money, but psychological help, you can just brush that aside for a long time.
Yeah.
Hannah, do you go home before you head to, what you have planned?
No, I don't think so. So I think she would. Where would she go? Maybe just hit the next mall. Like she's really not in the mood to go home, because she knows that whenever she puts on her full punk garb and has all her piercings back in, it's yeah. And then meeting her parents, it's not, that usually doesn't go over well. So she's probably just going to the next mall, seeing if maybe she can take a bus there or something like that, and to find something to kill the time until it's time to show up for helping out with the tailgating before the game.
Of course. As you're on the bus, you're sitting there. It's not a crowded bus this time of the day. There's probably at the most 4 other people on here with you, and you've got a pretty good space around you. Your phone rings.
Okay.
And it's not a number you recognize.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. She doesn't. Recently she's been getting those stupid like phishing calls from fake companies, and so she just stares at it and then waits. If there's a voicemail, she would listen to it, but on principle she doesn't pick up if she doesn't know the number.
Yeah, it does go to voicemail, and I think you can see, you see your phone, it's picked up, the message is being recorded, and as you play it, at first you hear this sort of static. It seems like someone doesn't have good signal, that there's some kind of interference, and then you hear the very familiar sounds of crickets chirping, of a couple of maybe bobcats howling in the distance, and you hear the familiar voice of your brother you haven't heard in 5 years. What does that message say, Henry?
I heard you fighting. I don't know what's wrong, but I'm sorry that you're upset with your friends.
And you can give me that roll to comfort. So obviously this is how, do you have a modifier for heart?
Yeah, I have a -1.
Oh, okay.
Really bad.
So sorry, I didn't catch that. What did you make him roll?
Heart. He's trying to comfort Hannah.
Okay.
So obviously as this gets worse, I think Hannah, this of course wasn't what you were expecting to hear from this
you can say that.
And how is the situation made worse, Hannah? How do you react?
So she's been through many years of therapy. She's still seeing a therapist for a long, every now and then, and she's come to the point where she thinks that some bad person took her brother, and then, but about a year ago, she stopped frantically looking for signs, and sort of she had gotten to a point where she allowed herself to move on a little, and so hearing his voice, it's like she feels that somebody just takes her heart and squeezes it and punches herself in the gut at the same time, and instantly her hands become slippery with sweat, and you see all the color drain from her face, and she feels immediately sick to the stomach. And I think she just sits there So it's just holding the phone still up, but breathing very, very shallowly at the brink of a panic attack, just waiting for.
I also want you to roll to witness the uncanny, please.
Of course. Hold on. Oh wait, you have the macro. Never mind. Where is it there?
Ooh, spicy roll. So on a 10+, you get +1 to your next roll. You're fine. This shocks you, Hannah. Like this is the last thing you expected. But also, like you said, you've been through therapy. You have.
And I think. Sorry.
You've tried to. You've dealt with this in a healthy way, and this is a little bit of a setback. But you also know your coping mechanisms.
Yeah, and actually, what I did. So with one hand, I'm clutching my cell phone, but my other hand is also reaching to the chain I wear around my neck. So a couple of years ago, during the time where I was compiling a big folder of like all the articles that were published after Henry vanished, and sort of me conducting my own research about the things that I think I saw, and leading nowhere really. But during that time, so Henry used to wear a ring, like in true emo fashion. It was like a black ring. And for whatever reason, or actually, Henry, tell me, did you not wear it that day, or did you leave it behind? Was that something I managed to grab before Frankie dragged me out of the forest?
I think it came off my finger when you were trying to grab my hand.
Even more traumatizing. Yes, let's do that. And so at some point, I took this ring and put it on a chain together with a tiny sapphire. It's my brother's birthstone that I gave him like the birthday before he vanished. And I don't know why he didn't wear that. Maybe it was too gaudy for him and he just didn't like to wear it. But I have both of these things on the chain, and so the coping mechanism would be to sort of hold on to literally to something that's real, and sort of doing all the breathing techniques that my therapist told me. And then in the back of my head, that little voice goes, I really have to meet up with Frankie and go to my weed stash and calm the fuck down later on.
You don't even, catch any stares on the bus. You've got this under control. And the bus continues on until your stop. A couple of hours pass. Frankie, you have found the liquor store. Even it's changed. Whereas you used to be able to get, cheap 6-packs here, very cheap liquor, you have to go back to the back of the store where there's this one little shelf of, sort of the things that scream home and familiar. I can talk. Scream familiarity to you. Is that even right? Anyway, it's sort of this upscale liquor store now that they sort of have all the celebrity liquor deals, that are the main focus. The high class things here, but you're able to get what you want. The person at the counter doesn't really pay you any mind besides give you this look up and down. Maybe they recognize you. You're not quite sure. But how do you spend your time in these couple of hours that pass, and what are you doing? Are you heading to the dinner? Are you heading to the game? Or are you waiting to the parties afterwards?
Yeah, like I think there's this thing where I throw like the overpriced like 2 6-packs onto the passenger seat, get into my car, and take out the brown bag, and then open like a cheap big bottle of orange juice, take a swig, and then like basically out. So I empty half of it, and then I'm like, look at the bottle of vodka, which is like they only had the pricey ones. Luckily, I currently do have money for whatever reason, and mix the vodka orange. So and then I probably drive to the game, but don't attend the game. Like I'm parking like behind the stand somewhere. I'm like,
yeah, of course.
Comes by and yeah.
And you're not the only one there. There are a couple of people dressed very similar to you, but they're younger. Like the age like that Hannah is probably. They seem to be, you know, on this new punk wave. They're very clearly baby punks, is what I'm trying to say. But they
I tried
give you
to bum a
this look.
smoke of one of them.
Yeah, one of them. They give you a smoke. You definitely hear them calling you an old man behind your back. But you get a smoke with no problem. It's actually one of them lights it with a match, and they have to go through 3 matches before they can get it to catch. It's a very clumsy exchange.
Yeah, then I trudged back to my car with like window open and like open one of the beers.
Tristan, what are you doing in these couple of hours that pass? And where are you heading?
I think she tries to call her husband and it goes to voicemail. And I think she sits alone in her hotel room and makes herself look really, really nice. And as nice, like definitely nice in like a very traditional way. Mm-hmm. Lots of makeup, lots of, you know, very tight clothing to show off like how good her body is after she had a kid. Like, look at me, like I'm still super sexy. And she wants to go to, she doesn't want to go to the game because she doesn't care about sports. But she does want to go to one of the parties.
Okay.
So she's just gonna like hang out in her hotel room until like wherever the biggest party is. Like just in sheer number, like not the best party.
You want to be seen by the most people.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Henry, you've been sort of stuck in this spot out in the woods. All these images of these people you knew once flooding your mind. You've felt Tristan's anger and confusion and fear. You have felt Frankie's fear, his loss, his
shame
and regret. But what really caught you off guard was you felt your sister's, you felt this fear in her. You felt it in all of them. But what was stronger was this strength that she had, this calmness, this ability to let go. And you heard that voice in your head that has always, over this long period of time, that has always spoke to you. And it just tells you simply, I think she's forgotten you. You can't let that happen, can you? You can't let any of them forget you.
Not again.
And you can hear that sort of thick, wind tunnel clears in your ears, Henry. And you can hear the football field is probably a good couple of miles out of the forest. It's not that long of a walk for you. You hear these people in the distance. You hear sort of cheers and people gathering. You would know it's some sort of celebration. And we see a 16-year-old boy emerging from the forest. The line of the forest just fades behind him as he walks out, his black hoodie on, with his band shirt and his jeans. We see the dirt and the mud that has sort of matted to his clothes and dug in with the fabric. And mostly we see the dark eyes. And Hannah, you get a text from a familiar number from Frankie that asked you if you want a beer. Tristan, your phone stays silent as you're getting ready, as you are letting the night fade away into nothing, and you don't hear of any. No one contacts you about parties, but I think you would know well enough from your time growing up in Woodlake where to look. And Frankie, you are sitting in your car watching these baby punks in front of you sort of live the life that you had a couple years ago, not caring about the football game, that kind of thing. And you send a text to Hannah asking what's up, if she wants a beer. And Henry, you are drawn toward this pulling, toward this girl who is working concessions at the football game, who looks familiar to you. You can't quite place her. But Hannah, you swear in the crowd around you that you see your brother, someone you haven't seen in 5 years. And that's where we're going to take a break. So, folks, we will be back in about 5 minutes. Take a little break to get a drink and everything, and we'll be back for more Spooks. Hi, everybody. We're back from our break. Last we saw this group, we had just witnessed Hannah seeing a very familiar face in the crowd as she was working a concession. A beautiful 16-year-old baby fresh face in the crowd as she was working concessions. And I think it does take you off guard. You're in the middle of handing a drink to someone, Hannah, and a couple of feet away from you, out of reach, and people moving in and out of, your line of sight in front of this person. You are so sure that's your brother.
So I'm just gonna go back 10 seconds so that I don't forget about Frankie's text.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the process, like I just finished up writing a message back, and I said, "Very funny, Frankie. I hate beer, but I'm definitely need." Oh God, what is there? This is showing me that I've never done weed. What is a stupid code word you would use if you want to tell your friends I want to share a joint later?
I would just be like, but I'll smoke or something. I don't know. I'm not a cool kid.
I think I would understand that you're not talking about cigarettes.
Yeah, she's probably going to go about being semi cool about it. It's like talking about herbs or something. She thinks it's cool, but it's. And so she sends out that text, and then she's in the. Then somebody stops by to order a drink, and she fills it up. And as she is in the process of handing over the drink, something catches her eye, and she thinks she sees her brother and drops the drink. Like she is in the process of handing over the drink, and she drops the cup, and it crashes down, and it probably it spills because it falls onto it flat onto the table, and it spills everywhere. It's probably like sticky soda, but she doesn't even react.
Yeah, I would like you to roll to witness the uncanny, of course.
Hold on.
Okay.
Partial.
So on a 7 to 9, you will either get to do a -1 to your next roll, or mark a breaking point. It's your choice.
Okay, at this point, I would say it makes more sense for her to take a breaking point. Because
go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, because that the one phone call, something has been going on. Like it's getting close to the anniversary of Henry vanishing, and so she's been frazzled the past few weeks anyway, and so she was able to somehow say, okay, I'm really, my brain is playing me tricks with a call, but then seeing him and it looking so real, no, I'm gonna mark down a breaking point.
And I think what really gets you, Hannah, is that while this looks just like your brother, yes, it's the dark, pupilless eyes, just the pale skin, this sort of thin boy. That's what really makes you uncomfortable.
So does he look like, maybe I didn't catch it earlier, but does he look like he has aged?
He looks like the 16-year-old Henry.
Oh, that is what you meant
that you had left
okay.
Behind, yeah.
So I'm just staring ahead, and I would assume that whoever I work with is like, what's going on, and apologizing to the patron, and Hannah just going,
yeah, you're working with this girl who's your age, and she's just staring at you. She says, Hannah, are you all right?
Listen, I'm not feeling too good. All of a sudden, I think I just with those pancakes, I be back. Just ask Susanna, to help you, and I just stumble over. Like it's a little bit. I definitely walk a little bit funny because seeing him again, it's not just this punch into the gut, but actually feeling my knees turning into jelly. You know, this whole body feeling of sort of like this beginning of a panic attack, the way it seizes you up and then makes you like and so she walks off, but she actually takes off her eyes from him, and she clutches the necklace and goes, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1.
As you're counting, Hannah, your phone rings. You get a chime that you have a text message.
Okay, I reach into my back pocket and I take out the phone.
You don't recognize the number, but it is different from the one that called earlier.
And actually, I think in her state, because she's so flustered, so she wants to hit the ignore button, but she actually accidentally hits accept because her hand is shaking so much. And she's like, oh, damn it. And then she just stares at the phone. So she pushed accept, but
you see up at the top, where it says, this number could belong to someone. It says Tristan Walker, as if Tristan has sent you this text message.
Okay, I'm going to.
And it just says, I'm sorry about earlier. I would like to apologize. There's some leftover pancakes in the lunchroom if you want to meet me there in about 30 minutes.
And the immediate thought of just having pancakes right now makes her feel even sicker. And she's like trying really hard to just focus on this message, to just getting back here now. And very briefly she peeks up to where she thought she saw Henry. Is he still there?
He's not there anymore. It's just a crowd, There are a couple of people stopped and talking with their families, eating hot dogs. Even though you're pretty sure you just saw them at the pancake dinner, they're chomping down on some hot dogs. But you don't see your brother.
Okay. So my hand's still trembling. I just type back to her, Casey, you there? And then I add a second text and I make a little heart, like the smaller than 3 sign, and then I just breathe deeply and then push the beanie over my dark hair a little bit lower. Okay. And then I start walking to where Tristan asked me to go to.
Frankie, you got a text back from Hannah that was basically, she doesn't like beer, but she would, meet you later. And what are you doing as you sort of get this confirmation from her? You're still in your car, by yourself.
Yeah, I think I'm getting bored. So I empty that can. I grab like the full 6-pack that's there, and put the vodka orange under my arm and leave and just start walking. Because I kind of came here to party and no one's like partying with me. But I'm also like not at the point yet where I like really start hammering myself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's like really everything seems like a waste of time. And then like as soon as I'm like getting too bored, I have that flashback of what I saw in the reflection, and I'm like wired. Yeah.
As you're walking, you're passing by a couple of families that are, just getting into the game, that are slowly heading out. They're getting out of their cars, they're dragging their kids, and it's a lot of families arguing and yelling. Definitely not your scene. And as you're walking, your phone dings with a text message.
Yeah, I pull out my brand new iPhone.
It's Hannah. She hasn't responded back. You didn't respond back to her. But the text message just says, didn't get a chance to eat dinner. I'm in the lunchroom grabbing some pancakes. Meet me there.
I expect you didn't start without me with
she
drenching
sends
the
you...
squanch.
God damn it. Yes. She sends you a the sort of smiling devil emoji and then the stack of pancakes emoji.
Yeah, like I pick up my pace because I'm actually worried she's already got the munchies, which would mean that she started without me, right?
Yeah.
I wish.
Tristan, you are in your hotel room, and you're done getting ready. You're sort of just waiting for the hours to pass so you can go out and be seen. And your phone rings, and you know that there's only certain numbers that get through when it's on Do Not Disturb, and you can't really make out what it says on the shattered screen. But you know that it's like, what, maybe one of 5 numbers, important numbers that can call through Do Not Disturb.
I pick it up.
You hear this static on the other line that sort of, it's not out of the ordinary in Woodlake. There are certain places that don't have good reception, but you hear the broken voice of your husband, and you get it sort of saying like, shh, the lunchroom, shh, are you here? Shh, you're supposed to be here. That kind of message. So he's trying to get through to you.
I'm like, honey, are you there? Hello?
You just hear a lot of static.
I'll be there soon. And then I hang up.
Okay. What do you head that way immediately?
Yeah, I think so.
Was your husband supposed to be here?
See, I think he was until he had a last minute, very urgent business trip that he had to go on.
Business trip. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Henry, you are standing in the darkened lunchroom that you know very well. This is where you went to school, where you had meals every day. Sometimes with your friends, sometimes alone if schedules, didn't line up. There are abandoned tables and chairs lined up, sort of in a mess. You can tell that people got out of here quickly to go to the game. And as you're looking around, the darkness here that you see begins to consume you a little bit more. It begins to grow heavy on your heart. And you know that these people are coming back. But this voice in your head is telling you, you're going to be alone unless you take them with you. Do you want to be alone, Henry?
No.
Then they have to come with you.
Okay.
And it's almost as if you didn't realize you were holding it, Henry, but that pocket knife that your dad gave you when you were 12. It's in your hand. The blade is out. You're holding it so tightly that any normal person should have broke skin, but you can feel the metal digging into your palm as you're holding it. And you're standing there in the middle of this lunchroom, and the little bit of light that was flooding in from the kitchen goes out as it puts you in complete darkness. Hannah, you're heading toward the lunchroom, and I think that you would probably meet Frankie heading that way. You would cut each other off, but you don't notice him, Hannah. You've got, your focus is just to get in, see what Tristan wanted, and there's no lights coming from this place. There are many windows along the edge of the building, but nothing. You see no shadows. You see no lights. And Frankie, you can see Hannah as she's sort of, got this determined walk as she's walking toward the big double doors that open up.
Yeah, so I would, not noticing Frankie, I'm walking up to those doors, instead of looking confused because there's no light, but I'm thinking, maybe Tristan had to step out for a second. So she walks up and sees if other doors unlocked right now. Can I just walk in?
Yeah, there's nothing holding these doors closed.
Okay, so I open it, Alina, I say, Tristan.
You see a figure standing toward the back of this building.
Oh, come on, Tristan. That's not... I know you're in a bed, and I'm already starting to look for the light switch. And
is this where I come up from behind and do the shitty tapping on the shoulder on one side and passing the other?
You asshole! And I punch him into the shoulder.
I'm like, hey.
I think you would see that I'm still very pale.
Yeah.
Just looking.
Like, did you start without me? Really?
I don't think I would look like this if I had already... Anyway, did Tristan also ask you to come here?
Tristan? You told me you were already having pancakes, and it's like...
What? No, I grabbed my phone and so I'm actually thinking that since he did the whole jerk move, I jumped back out of the building, but maybe I'm sort of have one foot in the door, literally. I just pull up my phone. No, one, I did send you a text back, but and I show him my text that says, very funny, I don't like beer, but I want to have some relaxing herbs or whatever later on.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's no text message from Hannah that has been sent to you.
Wait, that's strange. Like, well, first things first, and I pull out the vodka orange bottle. Of course, I didn't just get beer and push it into your arms as because I still have like that in one hand, the 6-pack in the other, right? And so now I can actually get at my phone properly, and I like pull it up.
Ugh, you're really not funny. Like, you would know that, and maybe it's a little bit of a running gag between the two of them. Hannah is not into alcohol at all,
yeah.
But at this point, she's like, you know what? Actually, yeah, just, and she looks around, make sure that nobody is watching them. Quickly takes a swig and
yeah, it's shitty. It's like more half and half than
and cheap liquor. So
yeah.
And then something sort of clicks in Hannah's in the back of her mind and say, Frankie, I think I actually saw someone. I mean, inside. Let me just, maybe Tris. And I, mumbling to myself, I just turn around and sort of continue with what I was doing earlier. I push open the door and then sort of look for the light switch.
You push open the door, Hannah, and there's no figure there anymore. But I think that both of you would know this, going to this school, that there isn't a real light switch. There's a breaker box back in the kitchen.
Okay.
That you flip to get,
Of course, you wouldn't make us walk through a fucking dark building to get.
What are you talking about, Petra? I don't know what you mean.
I mean, I love you, but I also hate you a little bit right now.
I don't know what you mean.
And I'm like, no, come honestly, like, what kind of trick are you trying to play on me? Like deleting the message you sent on your own phone? And I like hold up.
Hannah, as you look at Frankie's phone, there's no message from you either, except the one, waiting to get the herb. There's no message there.
And I go, I knew I just should have stayed home.
Hey, do you got the stuff on you? This is like...
No, it's back in my I'm sorry. I didn't want to. I was around my parents earlier. I did want to.
Well,
we got into a fight because I put all my piercings back in, and I just wanted to get out here. But it's...
So what about those pancakes? I start walking in, like trying to use my phone as...
Yeah, I do the same. I stay very close to Frankie, and as we start walking, as I in the dark, actually feeling maybe a little bit, just a tad comforted by the darkness, and I say, Frankie, I've started having the dream again about Henry. And to be honest, I'm not. I think, with his anniversary, I thought I was better, but it was almost like I saw him earlier.
As we're like slowly making our way forward, and you're telling this, I definitely like reach back, so either to grab the sleeve of your jacket, or like it's uncannily like 5 years ago in the woods suddenly.
Yeah, and I would instinctively maybe not hold onto his hand, but to his sleeve.
Yeah.
Would either of you like to take stock of your situation, of what's happening around here?
I think that's
It's actually a good idea.
You can roll senses to see how much detail you perceive in your surroundings.
So both of us?
Either of you can do it, or you can help, whichever you would prefer.
I really suck at it. Oh no, I don't suck at helping you. It's actually perfect, yeah.
You'll both, I will tell you this as, not out to get you, GM. You'll get different things even if you both roll it. I'm not going to just give you the same thing over and over again.
No, I think what I described is very much helping, and I'm goal-orientated towards the light switch box, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this gives Hannah an opportunity to actually take stock.
Yeah.
So if you want to roll to help, Frankie?
Yep.
You can do that, and...
Oh, that's an 11.
I'm that's already a success, so
yeah, you will get +2 to your roll, Hannah.
Oh, so wait, he was rolling for helping?
Yeah, I'm helping, but I'm like goal orientated towards the light switch box and giving you direction, so you have time to actually look around.
Gotcha. That's good, because I have a -1 on my senses. So even that doesn't make it.
So you still get to ask one question on a miss. What do I see? What do I hear? What do I smell?
So I know we're looking for that box, but I'm so focusing on my thoughts. So I think I'm just trying to listen, not really watch. Just listen. What can I hear?
You hear Frankie's footsteps, your footsteps. you hear what sounds like maybe dishes shifting in the sink a little bit. You know, just how dishes shift over time as, you know, water changes.
It's still gonna make me hold on a little bit tighter.
Yeah, for sure. You can hear the faint echo of, you know, people cheering for this game that means absolutely nothing outside. You can hear, maybe if you listen enough, a little bit of specific arguing happening. But what you really hear is the crunching of gravel under car tires that sort of lights this building up through the windows. And Tristan, you are pulling up in front of this, you know, your old lunchroom. No one else is around. You don't see your husband's car, or, you know, if he's here, you don't see his car. But you are idling in front of the lunchroom with your lights on. And Hannah and Frankie, you definitely see them, you know, reflecting through the big windows. Mm-hmm. Tristan, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go get out and go to the lunchroom, because I might not be able to see his car, but, you know, he could have like walked here from somewhere else or whatever.
Yeah,
some privacy.
You walk up to the door and, you know, push your way in. You immediately see two figures with little, you know, phone lights as they're pushing back toward the kitchen, and both of you hear the heavy doors open for sure. And I think it takes both of you by surprise. You didn't expect someone else to come barging in.
Immediately, like, grab one of the chairs.
Wait, Frankie. Tristan said, hello? Who's there?
Hello? Is this some kind of a joke?
Oh, it is you, Tristan. You asked me to come here.
I didn't ask you to come here.
I got a text from you, but honestly, something weird is going on, because Frankie said he got a text from me that I never sent him.
Frankie's here too.
Hi. And I like do the phone shine onto my face for a split second.
Okay, I'm
gonna try calling my husband.
We're trying to.
You say that out loud?
No, that's what she's doing right now.
We're trying to find the
Shh.
The light.
Shh. On the phone.
It should be over here, and that's when I run into like a chair, and that's been like put up, so there's a loud clank.
That loud clank goes off, and Tristan, as you're dialing this number, you get this sort of familiar, you know, tone of there is no service here, and you look at your phone and it's completely, it's not even roaming, it's completely out of service. And that's when the lights all come on. It lights you up so bright that it blinds you for a minute. You know, you were in complete darkness besides a little, you know, flashlights. It gives you a little bit of a moment off, and you see close to where the kitchen is, at this table, this lone table with one chair, this figure in a black hoodie, bent over, humming the school fight song as they're eating pancakes and sausage, not looking at you. You can't really see their face, you know, it's hidden by the hoodie. They have that, you know, they're very focused on what they're eating.
My nails are digging into
No.
Frankie's arm.
It's happening again.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What do you mean?
What's happening again?
And Hannah starts just to take one step back again at the verge of, like, you can also already see she's breathing very fast. And
Henry, you look up and you see the three people who
no,
had
no,
abandoned
no,
you
no, 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 no,
in
no,
your
no.
most traumatic, worst moment those years ago as you're finishing your last bite of pancake.
And Anna, clutching her hat, actually sort of turns halfway and starts counting to herself again. I'm fine. This is not happening. 1, 3, 2.
I really missed pancakes.
Oh, fuck.
I need all three of you to roll Witness the Uncanny as you see these dark, dark eyes sort of peering into your soul.
Do I take a -1 to this roll?
Not to this one.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter anyways.
Oh my God. Well, so you're all going to get a -1 to your next roll, and because this is you seeing Henry in the flesh, you're all going to take 2 breaking points.
Oh, I love this. I'm halfway there. So this means I have a deficit, right?
Yeah, me too. I'm at 3 breaking points, so we have a -1 penalty to all rolls that are plus heart or plus might.
Yep.
Great, love this.
And Henry, this shocks you as well. I would like you to roll to Witness the Uncanny. This is the first time you have seen these people who abandoned you, who you have this hate for in a very long time.
Hannah at this point would have slumped to the ground, sort of clutching her hat and just
Also, we're
whimpering.
looking all way older than you remember.
Mm-hmm. So you'll either take +1 to your next roll
Different.
or mark 1 breaking point, Henry.
I would like to use my special move, which allows me to re-roll 1 die when rolling Witness the Uncanny.
Please give me that reroll.
Because you're freaking weird now.
Oh my God!
So, 12.
So you'll get a +1 on your next roll.
Like, that's what we've been needing, right?
Yeah, the 3 of you are seeing this, and Frankie, Hannah is standing so close to you, can hear her repeating that mantra that she's learned over and over in her head. Tristan, your phone is completely dead. It seems to be drained of all power. Both of your phones in your hands, Frankie and Hannah, they've also turned off. And Henry is just sitting there looking at you with these dark eyes.
Why'd you leave me?
I pulled myself free of. I don't know if Hannah was still clasping onto me. I mean,
No,
you've
no.
sunk to the ground, right?
Yeah.
I think I give you like a very gentle pat on the shoulder. I look at you, Tristan, and take a chair and slowly walk over to Henry. And I put the chair down without like taking my eyes off Henry. And I sit down and my hands flat on the table and hello, Henry.
Did you miss me?
Of course we missed you. Are you okay?
I don't know.
And
I woke up today.
in the background, Hannah is slowly looking up, white as a sheet, and sort of tears streaming down her face, and just stares at Henry, wide eyes.
Can I roll search to find a way out of this room?
Yeah, I think that would make sense. I was just seeing if there was another move that would work, but search would work. Yeah, and remember you'll take actually a -2.
Yeah.
Correct? Mm-hmm. Go ahead and roll senses.
That would have been fine.
On a miss, you get to choose one. You leave something behind, you attract unwanted attention, you accidentally break or damage something.
Well, I would like to break or damage something, but I don't know if there's anything of importance to break or damage at this point. So I guess that I attract wanted. No, no, attract unwanted attention.
Words are hard.
Yeah, they are.
What are you doing to search Tristan? Are you actively moving? Are you just looking around? What are you doing?
Yeah. I think she's going around to like the doors that she walked in, and they're like not opening, are they?
Yeah, you are going, Tristan, and I think in this fit of like madness and desperation, you're sort of shaking them, and it catches Henry's attention. And Henry, you look up from Frankie and you can see Tristan shaking the doors trying to get away. And I mean, not only is this someone that looks older, Henry, this is like a completely different person. You know, a different sort of aura that she even gives off.
Since we haven't like discussed lots of what is possible, can I just appear by Tristan as she shakes the door?
I would say
It's definitely unwanted attention.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would say you could do that. That is something, Frankie, it's almost as if you take your eyes off of Henry for a split second. And when you look, he's not there anymore. And Henry is just sort of casually standing beside you, Tristan, at the door.
What are you?
I'm Henry.
I don't think you're Henry.
I am Henry. I remember everyone running in the dark. I remember being trapped and left. And then today, I was here.
What happened to your eyes? And you see Hannah slowly turning around and actually getting up. And you see her clutching her chain, the necklace.
I don't know what you mean. All I know is I've been alone for 5 years.
I'm like staring at the white of the table in front of me. I'm like, I'm so sorry. It was such a stupid idea after the events of those days, and say, hey, let's camp on homecoming night out in the woods there.
Henry, you feel that cool metal in your hand sort of heating up. And you hear the voice in your head, the only constant in your life, telling you, just take them. Just take them.
And Hannah walks up slowly up to Henry. She's still not 100% sure that this is real. And so she extends a hand and see if she can actually touch him.
What do you do, Henry?
Henry reaches out his hand to take her hand.
As you do this, Henry, these shadows begin to sort of coalesce on your fingertips, leave your body. They touch yours, Hannah. These shadows begin to sort of dig into your fingertips, and it's painful. And it feels almost as if not even your life, but these memories in your mind of your brother are fading from you completely. These memories of your friends in this room are fading from you. You're feeling weak as these shadows sort of curl and wrap up your arm. And I need you to roll to push through, as this is sort of taking some kind of physical willpower for you to resist whatever this feeling is happening to you.
So plus mind, since it's more or
yes, this is going to be not a body push through, but for mind
pusher. Yeah, anybody be watching the rules? It's an add-on. I realized we needed last week.
Still in play testing.
Okay, and so I still have a -1 from my previous uncanny roll. And then I have, so it basically cancels itself out. I have +1 for mind. And so I'm just gonna roll 2d6 straight. No.
So I don't know how much it'll help, but because it's my sister, I'd like to assist her.
Yeah, I'll let you retroactively roll help. Okay. It'll still be a +1. It'll still be a 5. But it's the thought that counts. So you're gonna pick did you want to, Petra, this is a question for the book, did you want to use the push through body options or the witness the uncanny options for this?
For something like this,
because it's going to be physically harm to you.
That's a tricky one. I would say, since everything is already so weird, I think a push through would be like a physical push through would suffice. But also, sort of the moment that their hands touch, and though even it starts to hurt shortly afterwards, she would just start sobbing uncontrollably and sort of clutch onto his hand, but then starting to feel the pain and sort of being torn between not wanting to let go of her brother but feeling really creeped out by all of this.
Yeah, and hurting. It's a very it's a very draining sort of.
So yeah, I would say let's go with a push through, like a physical push through, trying to get out of this, because ouch.
Yeah, so on a miss, you pick 2, you injure yourself, mark 1 harm, you accidentally hurt someone else, they mark 1 harm, you open yourself up to more danger, or you risk the group's safety.
Actually, I would say, so it really hurts, and my first physical instinct is to pull away, but at the same time, I'm holding my brother's hand, so I'm actually I keep holding on to him and accept. I take 1 harm, and in doing so, I probably open myself up to more danger.
You'll take 1 harm as this pain sort of drains you, and it's this burning, searing pain that seems localized in one spot, sort of the middle of your chest, almost taking your breath away from you.
As I look at him as all of this happens, and sort of I say, I'm so sorry. I know it must have been terrible. I missed you so much.
You can come with me this time.
What do you mean?
When you asked that, Hannah, these shadows that were only on your fingertips, they begin to slowly move up your hand, to your wrist, to your upper arm, and you don't feel that part of your body anymore. It's almost as if it has completely gone numb or frozen if it's not even there. And you see your skin cracking almost as if it's ice.
Can I throw my purse, Henry? And break off their physical connection?
You certainly can. You can use violence.
Also, to add just a hint of more drama, as I'm having my arms stretched out, I would say all the wristbands I'm always wearing have shifted a little bit. So through Henry's fingers, you would see a scar on Hannah's wrist. Because on the first year anniversary, she was at a really, really, really bad place. And yeah.
Of course.
Cool. So I get a +1 because of my special move, which is not backing down. Sometimes words aren't enough to show support for a good cause. Sometimes you have to let your actions speak. Add +1 when you use violence on objects. I'm using the violence on object I'm using as I'm throwing the object, right?
Yeah.
So I get +1? Okay.
Yeah. This big designer purse that Tristan has is going straight toward Henry and Hannah's connection. So you have an 8. On a 7 and 9, you choose 1. You take things too far. You end up in a bad spot. You lose the trust of one of your friends. They mark relationship -1 with you. You injure yourself, mark 1 harm, or you accidentally hurt someone else. They mark 1 harm.
I think I accidentally hurt. Well, I accidentally hurt one of them, and they can choose which one it is.
Bring it on.
I think as you throw this purse, you're going to, if this is okay with the both of you, she's going to hurt both of you. It's breaking this connection. You feel this surge of, Henry, you feel this surge of loss that is so strong that it knocks the air out of this air you're not really breathing, but it feels like you've had the air knocked out of your lungs, and you sort of stumble back, and you blink a couple of times as the world around you goes dark, and you're going to take 1 harm from this sudden loss of connection to your sister. And Hannah, this sudden heaviness of this big bag knocking the two of you apart, it knocks off a part of your hand. You see it shatter to the ground, this dark shadowed version, and as it hits the ground, the shadows sort of wisp up into the air, and you're going to take 1 harm as well.
And I want to grab Hannah by the arm and jerk her away from where Henry can touch her.
I immediately start protesting. It's like, no, that is what you did 5 years ago. I wanted to go after him. I'm not going to leave him behind again. And then I look back at Henry and say, Henry, why can't you just come back?
Can't you see how he's hurting you? This might be Henry, but it's also not him. You can't.
We've been hurting him all those time. He was there.
We were kids, and whatever did this to him would have done it to us too.
You didn't even go back. I went back there every year to the same place, but he wasn't there. I could never find him.
Frankie, as you're witnessing this from, across the room, what are you doing?
So I'm sitting there, and we can see my upper body gently shaking as I'm just sitting there sobbing in silence. If I just let this play out, I won't get hurt.
Very quickly, Katie, the whole my hand shattering, is that something that I only see, or is that?
As far as you know, Tristan's not reacting to it, nor is Frankie.
But to me, it looks like
It
part
looks
of my
like
hand
part
is
of your
gone.
hand has shattered to the ground and sort of gone up in shadows, in these wisps of shadows.
Cool.
Tristan, where are you pulling Hannah to?
Away.
Okay, so since you can't get through the door, you are sort of moving back toward Frankie. There's about 2 tables in between where you're standing, but there's a good bit of distance you're making from Henry. And Henry, you are watching this happen as you sort of, gain your composure again. You're seeing these 2 people leaving you once more.
You should have left.
You're gonna abandon me again.
I don't know if Tristan has anything to say to that. She's just staring at him with these like wide, frightened eyes and like physically, like bodily putting like Hannah behind her.
But when she gets distracted, because Hannah has been sort of half-heartedly trying to free herself from Tristan, and so she would stand up, not run over to Henry, but sort of position herself in between Tristan and Henry, and looking at her brother, and saying, I want to be with you, but I don't. Why would you want to go back there? Why can't we be together here? I have so many things to tell you.
Yes, Henry, come over. Come, let's have some more pancakes. And it'll all be all right, I promise.
What the hell is wrong with you 2?
Shut up. Come sit with us.
And Henry goes back to the table when Frankie says that.
Yeah, and it's not a movement. It's in sort of this, all of you witness in a split second where Henry was standing. He's now back in that seat he was across from Frankie.
Tristan, you can get out now.
Yeah, I walk over and I grab a chair. So I sit across from Henry, not next to him. And I sort of I take off the chain with the ring and the stone, and I hold it, sort of put it on the table, and I say, do you remember that? Henry, I'm so sorry I couldn't find you. But I didn't know where. I went further and further and farther into the forest.
Henry, as she holds this chain out in front of you and you see these rings, you feel this feeling, you feel something you haven't felt in a very long time. You feel this warmth that isn't coming from the metal in your hand. You feel this warmth radiating off of these rings that hang on this chain. And I'd like you to witness the uncanny for me. Okay. It's only this roll that really gets bad. So you're going to take a -1 on your next roll, and you're going to take 2 breaking points as the voice in your head is saying, she never looked for you. She's lying. She looked for you, she would have found you. You were right there, Henry. They could have all found you. They moved on and left you behind because they didn't care.
So Henry gets a little angry. I was right there. You didn't look for me. I was right there. You left me, all of you. But you can come with me this time. I don't have to be alone.
Why don't you come to us? Come back to us. We're here now. We
I
found
don't
you.
know if I can.
Do you want to?
Yes. No. I
promise.
don't know.
Everything will be all right if you come back to us. Really, truly, this time. And I lean forward and put like one hand way too close, like just closer towards you, right? Please, if you come to us, just we'll all be okay and all right. And I want to persuade
for sure.
Henry. Also, I'm obviously lying.
I
don't
would
think things won't be all right if he comes back.
I would like to assist Frankie in that I'm saying after hearing what Frankie said, and I was saying, Henry, I did look for you. I tried to understand what happened, but all I remember is that you were pulled back, and I held your hand, but all I could get hold of was your ring. And then they said it was too dangerous, but I came back later. I can show you. I have this box at home with articles, and I tried to understand. Because I wasn't sure if what I saw was real. I don't know what you remember, but I think. And I look at also the others and I say, I think I saw you floating up into the air and then falling to the ground. And then you were dragged into the darkness. I did look for you. You have to believe me. So I'm rolling for help.
Yes.
So, and that's, I have a +2 with Frankie. So that's a 9.
Yeah, you will get to add 1 to help Frankie's persuade.
And I am lying, right? Like, I don't believe that this is okay if Henry comes back.
Yeah. Doesn't matter in this game.
Yeah. You're only at 2 breaking points though, correct?
No, I'm at 3.
Okay, so it's gonna your help's gonna cancel out because any mind rolls. So it'll be a straight roll.
Yeah. I'm asking because I have silver tongue and get +1 when I try to persuade someone by telling a lie.
Yeah, you'll get to add the +1 back then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 8.
An 8. So on a 7 to 9, they ask you for something in return. Henry, you're hearing all of this. You're having this argument with these people who you were once close to, and the voice in your head that's telling you they're lying. They're not telling you the truth. They didn't really care about you, but you know these people. How do you react to this as you ask for something in return?
I need you to prove that it'll be okay. I need you to give me something, Frankie.
How can I show you?
Kiss me like that night again.
I freeze for a moment and just stare at him.
And despite everything, I think Hannah is actually cracking a tiniest smile at this. It's like seeing that part of her brother is still here.
Yeah, I see that, and then I definitely also like look over my shoulder and look at Tristan.
Yeah, how is Tristan reacting to
Just-
this?
She just smells, do it.
Yeah, and I get up and I lean over and slide my hand into the back of your neck and lean over you. I think you can see like with my other hand on the table is like shaking like this. But I lean over you and kiss you.
As this happens, Frankie, I want you to roll push through with mind.
Oh, can I assist you? This kiss is like a deep, ravishly kiss that gets just more intense.
Are you asking Henry to assist you?
No, I want.
No, you're going to roll.
Oh, I am going to roll.
You're going to roll. Yeah, Frankie's going to roll.
Okay. I thought Henry was going to push through. Yeah,
I could roll to interfere because I don't like Frankie. And so him being hurt would feel good emotionally.
How would you interfere?
I don't know. That's the problem.
If you can give me a way you do it, I will totally allow it.
Well, I would know how, but that's not I'm not gonna tell you.
But yeah, give me that mind roll to push through.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh.
It doesn't matter anyways.
Do you have any modifiers to it? No. Okay.
No.
So on a miss, you'll get to pick 2. You injure yourself, mark 1 harm. You accidentally hurt someone else. They mark 1 harm. You open yourself up to more danger. You risk the group's safety. Tell me which ones you pick, and I'll tell you what happens.
I mean, I obviously open myself up to more danger. And I risk the group safety.
Okay. So you see Frankie lean forward and in this really familiar type of action kiss Henry. And for a moment, it seems as if almost nothing happens. But Frankie, you feel it. You feel this sort of searing, red-hot pain in the center of your chest. You feel this numbness that goes through the left side of your face. Almost as if you have been frozen to something. You try to pull away, but whatever has gotten a hold of you now through Henry, you can't get away yet. And Tristan and Hannah, you see these shadows from Henry begin to grow larger around him. It's filling up this space that you're all in around this table. It's touching you, Hannah, as that sort of frozen numbness feeling goes up your toes now as it's slowly going up the ground. And Tristan, you can see these shadows inching toward you as you're standing, a couple feet back. They're crawling towards you, almost trying to grab at you, Tristan. And Henry, you feel great. You feel as if there's an emptiness inside of you that is full for the first time in ages, and you hear the voice say, "Take them. This is what you have to do. Take them."
Hannah actually wouldn't allow those shadows to touch her. this time. She jumps up from her chair and says, Henry, please stop that. It's not, I know you're hurting, but this is not making things better. And I'm putting a hand on Frankie's shoulder or arm and try to
yeah, we're still kissing.
Pull him back, yeah. And I mean, like, since I knew what it felt like when I held Henry's hand, sort of, I mean, it still looks weird, but I understand what's happening. I haven't broke the kiss yet, so I would try to gently, but no, not so gently, pull back Frankie.
Yeah, I think I would want you to push through with body as you're trying to pull Frankie away, so you won't have the negative to this one.
Yeah. Okay, and I have a +1 for body, so that's a 9. That's a partial success.
Okay. Tristan, what are you doing in this moment as you're seeing this happen and you're seeing these sort of shadows reaching out to you?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the moves of what I can do. Yeah, I think I'm trying to read a person. I want to see what it's going to take to get Henry to stop this.
You're reading Henry specifically?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll heart.
And that's a -1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't have, well, it just counts as out my +1. No.
Yeah, you can't get a read on the situation.
All right.
Hannah, with a 9 on push through, you will get to choose, you'll succeed, but you'll get to choose one. So you can injure yourself and mark 1 harm, accidentally hurt someone else, they mark 1 harm, you open yourself up to more danger or risk the group safety.
I mean, if I succeed in pulling Frankie back, then unfortunately he would get harmed just like I got harmed earlier when Tristan broke contact.
Yeah, and as you do this, you don't see anything happen, Hannah, nor do you, Tristan. Henry, you feel this, absence, this sudden absence as Frankie's pulled away from you. And Frankie, you feel this searing pain through the side of your face, on the left side of your face, as it's almost like when you saw the glass shattering, a spider webbing off. If you look down, you can see bits of what looks like this dark obsidian falling to the wide of the table and going up into wisps of shadow that's coalescing with all the other shadow that's enveloping the 4 of you, actually. And it hurts. It's very painful, but no one else is reacting to it. No one else is seeing it.
Can I embrace the shadows further?
And
entangle them that way?
Wrong game.
I was going to say, this is not Bluebird's Bride. What are you meaning to do, though? And we can try to make it work.
I feel I'm caught up in this embrace of doom, and if I lean into it, I can give others a chance to do something to get away. Or
I would say maybe you could read a person as you're sort of seeing this.
As I'm closest to Henry right now.
Yeah, I would say that you're not even specifically reading Henry, as more of you're reading what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That was heart.
Yeah.
That's a 10.
Okay. So you will get to ask 2 questions. You'll ask me as a shadow, what's most important to you right now? What are you worried about? How do you really feel about blank? What does it take to get you to blank? Are you telling the truth in regards to blank?
What are you worried about?
This shadow, you feel that it's losing power. It is worried that it will lose Henry and not get what it wants, which is the three of you. The anger, the loss, the shame inside of you is what it feeds off of. It's worried it won't have that to feed off of.
And what does it... Yeah, and I feel this intensity, this need, right? And this desperation as it's losing power. So what does it take to get you to use up your remaining power?
It is going to take... It's going to take a show of sort of pure human empathy, of forgiveness and pure regret of the actions that the three of you did in order to sort of overpower it and to let Henry rest.
By the way, is Henry still holding on to that knife?
It's still in his hand.
I haven't registered the knife. I pull... Do you want to do something?
Yeah, I just want to ask, I forgot the description of the knife. Was that something, would I recognize the knife?
Oh, for sure. It is just a little, Swiss Army pocket knife that your father gave to him when he was about 12 or 13. Just something to have. And I think the two of you hung out in the forest a lot, so it was something to have just in case.
Mm-hmm. And so as Frankie pulls back, and I can see that he's probably in pain, sort of getting an idea that he's probably feeling the same as I felt when I pulled back my hand, looking at Henry and the knife, and I say, you still have that. Remember how Dad taught us to all the to be how to be safe in the forest when we went hiking, and how to leave little signs on the way in case we got lost. Like, you made it out, Henry. You're here now with us. I don't think you need that knife anymore.
Yeah, and I've pulled, I've not pulled away, but I've pulled back, and some still in its grasp. And I think there's tears streaking down my face as I look into Henry's black eyes. In a way, this was all my fault. And I'm really fucking sorry. And I'm really fucking sorry we couldn't help you. And I look over to Hannah, and I look at the knife, and I look back at Henry, and
I'm quickly looking back over my shoulder to also see what Tristan is doing.
Yeah, Tristan, how are you? You're witnessing this. Frankie has told you that you have a chance to leave, apparently. You're seeing all these shadows, and you're seeing Henry staring up at the three of you with these dark eyes.
I think she's just paralyzed. Like, in her head, she knows that she can try and run, but she just can't make the connection to her body to make her legs move, as like she's trying to grapple with what she's, seeing in front of her. And she's seeing her friend that has been, gone for 5 years, just as she remembers him. And it's the worst feeling in the world. Because she remembers, running away and not looking back. And knowing that she left him.
Henry, you're feeling these emotions from these three people. You're feeling their shame. You're feeling their regret. You're feeling from your sister this unfamiliar feeling that you can almost recognize, that is some sort of warmth, is some sort of love, maybe. And in your head, that voice is still screaming at you that these aren't your people. I would like you to roll once more to witness the uncanny.
Okay. Oof. I'm gonna re-roll one die, please.
Is that a once per session thing, or can you do it anytime?
That's a good thing. Let me see what I wrote, because I
will completely allow it, but I just don't know what the rules are.
It just says when you witness the uncanny, you may re-roll one die and keep the higher.
Let me take a note right now that I need you to specify that.
Yeah, well then, since it isn't specified, go ahead. I will take any loophole.
That's what playtesting's for, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God.
Oh no!
It's not any better.
So I got a 5.
Is there a way to roll? No, a roll to assist?
If you get a 10 plus, right?
Yeah, well,
It's a plus 2.
I think I have a +1 to help.
Can you assist on witness the uncanny, Petra? Because it's also something that isn't specified.
Yeah, I just realized that. Honestly, I would think, since what we said earlier, where we talked about if you roll 2 uncanny, witness the uncanny in a roll, should you add a bonus to that, to the other one? And we said that it's its own thing. So right now, I would say no.
Yeah,
I have
that
to
makes
think
sense.
more about that.
So, Henry, you're going to take a -1 to your next roll, and you're going to take 2 breaking points.
I'm at 4.
Run, Tristan, run, and don't let your kid go to this high school.
No pancakes ever for your kid. Henry, you feel all of these emotions, and they're overwhelming. You hear what your sister is saying. You hear what Frankie is saying. And there's an overwhelming silence from Trista, and it pisses you off. You are so angry, and your gaze goes straight to her.
I would like to use violence on Tristan.
Okay.
That's fair.
What are you going to attempt to do?
Since I have been moving without walking, I want to just appear next to her, and I want to attempt to stab her with the knife in my hand.
If there's any chance for me to react, I would like to interfere. If that's, I don't know what kind of creepy moves he's got going there.
He moves pretty fast. I'm gonna see what he rolls. So give me that body roll. Give me that body roll.
A 5 with my -1.
Okay, so I think that on a miss, you're gonna pick 2. You take things too far, you end up in a bad spot. You lose the trust of one of your friends. I'm not gonna. I think you've already. They don't trust you, so that won't be an option. So either you injure yourself, mark 1 harm, or you accidentally hurt someone else. They mark 1 harm.
I think I'll accidentally hurt someone else, which
Okay.
plays into what Petra said Hannah wanted to do.
Exactly.
And then, because I have to pick 2, right? So, and then I take things too far, probably.
Okay. In response to this, Tristan, I would like you to roll push 3 with body. As this is happening quickly. But Henry, there's something that stops you before you're able to fully attack Tristan. And it's this sort of blur of motion of your sister who hasn't taken her eyes off of you this whole time, who was jumping out to try and assist and push your attack off somewhere else. Tristan, give me that roll.
Me?
Yes, Tristan.
Okay. So it's just going to be a basic roll.
Yeah, with body. Okay.
Oh, shit.
Great. So you are able to Hannah, what would you do to sort of deflect this attack off of Tristan?
I mean, if this is really going fast, I think all she would be able to do is sort of do an like, no, stop it, kind of move, and then him maybe slashing her hand or something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Henry, you are lashing out at Tristan and all this anger you have. And Tristan, you're not exactly sure what's happening, but you see this blur of motion from Hannah well enough to know to sort of get out of the way, to dodge a little bit. And Hannah, your hand goes out right in the spot that Henry was trying to hurt Tristan. And that metal of that blade, it sears through your skin almost. You're going to take 1 harm. And you are going to witness this part, more of this dark, shadowed part of your hand fall off and sort of hit shadows, wisp into the air before it even hits the ground.
And so as this is happening, well, first of all, I cry out in pain. and sort of this, I think she doesn't even know how to express her feelings, but sort of if Henry can feel it, there's this, I just don't want anybody else to get hurt. I want my brother back. I want this to end. And but also kind of feeling that this isn't really him, and sort of like all these like rush of emotions, thinking that if he actually terribly hurt Tristan, that he would later on regret it. And yeah, rather me getting hurt than him or her.
Tristan, how are you reacting to this as you're sort of pushed out of the way? And I think you can, even though the shadows aren't enveloping you, you haven't been touched by them as Frankie and Hannah have. You can definitely tell Henry's not happy with you. He's angry. This is anger you've probably never witnessed before. Especially not from Henry.
I just want to make sure that Hannah isn't getting hurt. And so I'm going to say to him, if you're Henry and you're not just some kind of, I don't know, apparition or something, then you wouldn't hurt your sister. So if there's anything in there that is still Henry, you need to stop this right now.
Would you like to, are you trying to persuade, or even, I would say, like maybe comfort Henry, or is this just a conversation you're having with him? I want to make sure you're not using a move here.
I'm kind of trying to trigger persuade.
Okay. Yeah, you could definitely roll mind to persuade. You're trying to get Henry to leave Hannah alone.
Yeah. Does anyone want to help me or what? Okay. What was wrong? Oh, thank goodness.
And that is with a -1.
So my mind is +1.
Okay, perfect.
So that just means it's a straight 2d6.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, Henry, this is the first time from Tristan you have felt any sort of emotion, other than nonchalance, than this, just brushed off feeling of what happened to you. And she's right. Your sister annoyed you, as most young sisters do. You've never hurt her. You would never treat her this way. And Hannah, for a moment, as you look up into your brother's eyes, for just a split second, you see the whites of his eyes there before it goes back dark again.
I actually look at Tristan while I'm holding my hand and say, why don't you say what you're feeling? I always wanted to talk to you about what happened, but it was so hard.
Why
don't you just say it to him?
I did everything I could to forget what we did, because I didn't want to be the kind of person who left her friend behind, but I was. And so I changed everything about myself so I wouldn't have to be that person anymore. But I still am. And I can't change the fact that I'm still that kid who decided not to go back, even though I had that choice. And I feel I can't let myself think about it, because if I do, I think I'll never be able to feel like a person again.
And I briefly reach out to squeeze her hand.
Henry, you witnessed this. And that anger you felt toward Tristan is fading from your chest. And Hannah, I think you, as well as the other two, can see this fogginess from Henry's eyes fading, going back to some familiar whites of his eyes that you've seen. And Henry, for just a moment, you can feel that anger trying to hold on to you, trying to dig its claws into you once again, like it did so long ago. But Henry, do you let go so you can move on?
Yes.
All around you, the shadows begin to dissipate. Henry, the darkness in your eyes slowly fades. Frankie and Hannah, you're still hurting, but how you had felt that numbness, and at least you could see, Hannah, the darkness of your hand, it fades back into what you know is normal. And you see in front of you that young boy of 16 that you had all left 5 years ago. It's almost as if he's a hazy bit of smoke, almost like a mirage you see when the heat is so high in the desert. But he seems to be there, corporeal, for just a moment. And this is the Henry you remember.
I'm sorry for hurting you. Thank you.
No, you didn't mean to. I'm sorry too.
Yeah, for abandoning you.
You watch as Henry looks at all three of you. And after a moment, this image you have of him no longer dirty, no longer pale and angry or sad looking, with a bit of a smirk on his face that you all recognize, fades in front of you. The night goes on. You three are able to tend to your wounds and leave. And the next day, before you sort of have a chance to talk to each other even about it, Hannah, you hear your mother in the kitchen on the phone, crying. You can sort of hear footprints shuffling through the house. And as you listen, you hear a local cop reporting to your parents that Henry's body has been found. So there can finally be some peace to your family. What I'd like to know from Frankie, Tristan, and Hannah is how you handle the rest of the year before you move on, just as Henry did. Frankie, if you'd like to go first.
Yeah. I think Frankie gets his shit together and does like a big in the local newspaper. There's like this big scandal that comes up, and but he basically let that happen, wash over him, and actually applies for proper place. I don't know what you would actually go for to actually study and learn. Maybe it is even theater. Yeah, like that. He never gave a crap about the theater. Was just a thing to do to kind of avoid or distract from his queerness, basically.
Yeah.
But now he actually gets into it. Yeah.
Tristan, what about you?
I don't think that Tristan really does move on because, in a way, because her whole life after that day has been structured to not be able to repeat that. And she's constructed herself into this person, and she just can't let go of that person that she's become. So I think, she finishes up the weekend, she puts on a good face for everyone, and then she goes back home to be with her husband and child and goes back to her life.
Hannah, what about you?
I would say when they find Henry's body, with everything that Hannah already went through, I think her parents and everybody around her is really scared that she's falling into another black hole. But I mean, she's definitely going through a phase of grief, but she really took ultimately a sense of relief away from everything that happened, as painful as it was. But because they were able to talk and sort of make peace, and she does believe that her brother was able to move on and sort of free now from this whatever that was. And quick question, where did they find the body? Was Hannah anywhere close all those years when she went into the forest?
You find the body, the place where you ran away from. It was almost as if this hold on Henry was keeping you from moving on, as much as it was keeping him from moving on.
Okay. Then I would. So again, it's definitely this phase of grief, but at the same time, coming out of it a stronger person and someone who's really beginning to rest in herself. And she continues to finish her last year at high school. She still has a plan to leave Woodlake after graduation together with her girlfriend, and but she's sort of talking it over with her parents and sort of so that everything is official, not the whole running away thing again. And I think sort of at the end of that year, when the anniversary is coming close again, and by that time I would say the crime scene would no longer be a crime scene.
Yeah.
So that she would actually be able to get there. She would go and take off her chain and just take off this little birthstone that she once gifted to Henry, and she's going to bury it at that spot, but she's keeping the ring, and then walks off. And she's staying a punk.
And with that, we will bring our little Summer in Woodlake spooky, more depressing tale to an end. Yeah, this has been Summer in Woodlake by the wonderful Petra. It is amazing. And correct me if I'm wrong, it's only available for free for a couple of more weeks, if that.
Yeah, a bit longer. So sometime in July. So I'm only 2 ways away from moving back to Germany, and I'm pretty much freaking out right now because everything is so stressful. But I've been taking a lot of notes, and so sometime in July there will be an update, and then it's not going to be free anymore. So.
Yeah, so grab it while you can, support Petra, play it, stream it, talk about it, yell about it. It's great. It's a great game. I've had the chance to play it with Mal on Greg's channel, Tales from the Gram, last week, and it was really, really good. And I was so excited to run it. And especially when I asked Petra, I was like, "Can you play? I need you here to make sure I run it correctly." So this was really great. But yeah, we can go around. If you have any plugs, any kind of feelings, that kind of good stuff. Just let it all out, and we will start with we'll just go ahead and start with you, Petra, since you can hype up your game and everything.
Yeah, so once more, thank you for saying let's test play this, because it's been immensely helpful. And one thing that's really exciting, and I've seen it with different RPs, but in all the different directions you can take it, that even though you have the same basic premise, right, a bunch of adolescent childhood friends coming together over summer, meeting up for probably one last time, but then where you go from there is really different. And I also have to say, so here's the thing, I have this one section where in the section for the DM, and then the paragraph that says suggests to get all up close and personal, especially if people are a little bit reluctant to go out and find out what's going on. And you really took that to heart, Katie, and then some. So I really loved that. I really loved that story, and yeah.
I'm really glad you could play with us. That made my whole night, so I'm very happy. We only played together. This is the second time, and I wish we could play together more. I know you're like me, you're busy all the time. So, but I wish we could actually play in a game together and not me being your GM.
Oh, sure time. It's sure thing. I mean, it's going to happen.
It has to. So. Rachel, what about you?
Sorry, I had to find the mute button. Hi everyone, I'm Rachel. You can find me on Twitter at @art_omulus. I was so happy to be able to play this game. It's not usually my regular flavor, but it was super fun and a very cool kind of system and stuff, and I liked it a lot. You can find me on Tuesday again here on this channel, and then Thursday on Off the Table, playing Masks and Urban Shadows, respectively.
Mal. I would like to say, because it was just brought up in chat, the one who never left being the horror was all Mal's idea. Completely great and rolled with everything. I felt bad that he wasn't getting a lot of character interaction, so I was like, if you want to do something behind the scenes, you just tell me and we'll do it. So wonderful to have Mal.
You sneaky you. I thought it was all Katie.
Nope.
Nope, I was suggesting things to her, and then I made a couple of rolls behind the scenes. I'm Mal. You can find me at Mal Hideo on Twitter. You can find me every Tuesday at the Scratitics Academy playing Alice's Call of Cthulhu game, Twilight Sands, where we're in Egypt and there's mummies, and my character is already pretty insane, and we're only like 8 or 9 episodes in. I have 35 sanity, 8 episodes in. It's pretty terrible, and by terrible I mean great. I had a blast. I was so happy when Katie asked me to fill in tonight. I had a blast playing with her last week. It was really fun playing with all of you. Petra, I have a question. Does this mean we won the game? Did we win?
I mean, as much as you can win this type of game. I mean, we certainly sort of narratively fulfilled the whole the image of being violently kicked out of childhood and thrown into the adult world for good. So, and I mean, Katie made me cry. So that's a good feat there. You can get a +3 bonus for that.
+1 on my next roll against Petra. And of course, last but not least, Matthias.
Hi, you can find me at mthsblgr on Twitter. And you can find me here again on Monday for our Inspectors game.
Yes.
And on Thursday for our High Noon group of the Claiming, I'm playing Urban Shadows in Sangohona, and Fridays the Midnight Crew. And next Saturday I'll be on Jolie's Pen and Paper Pals with Katie. No, that's on Sunday.
Saturday you'll be here.
Saturday I'll be here, and I'll be starting my Cthulhu Dark campaign.
Cthulhu Dark, yes.
Yeah, and I'll also be here on Wednesday, but not in front of the camera.
Yeah. Running production for that one.
But I think that's what you're getting to now, right?
You know where to find me. You can find me anywhere at Katie Face. Mondays we have Inspectors, and we have Monster of the Week. Tuesdays we have Masks. Wednesday we will be here. It's going to be it's not a set time. We sort of wanted to fit it for each game runner's time zone. So I can't tell you what time. I can if I look. I can tell you what time the game is. I'm just the worst.
It's around noon or a little
It
after.
is at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Mikhail will be running Tall Pines. It's going to be fun. It's going to be another spooky game. Thursdays, you can find me on Off the Table playing in the first, the non-evil group of Urban Shadows and Guahona. And Saturdays, I am on Wandering DM playing Call of Cthulhu. Then we'll be back here various times through the day for more summer spook games. We'll be running a series of Cthulhu Dark, and then also a spooky D&D series that will be they'll be alternating each week. And then Sundays, I'll be over on Pen and Paper Pals playing Burning Wheel for a couple of sessions. I'm very excited for that. The Canadian Canadians group is also the Thursday group. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for hanging out tonight. I'm so glad I got to run this, especially with this group. It was great. I couldn't have asked for a better group.
It was a great start to our summer of Spooks.
It really was. It was a wonderful start. Like, all of you were so flexible, and you just rolled with my crazy things, because I just came into this with just a vague idea, and so I'd let you guys lead the way. And this really, it kicked everything off great. I can't wait to see what these amazing game runners will run. Levi in chat, he's going to be running Final Girl. Like I said, Matthias is running a game. It's going to be a great time. And yeah, I can't wait to see you all in chat later. And I hope all of you have a great night and a wonderful rest of your weekend. Bye.